I'm going to show you how to create an interval music backdrop for a standard interval training session. And what I mean by standard session is something like 10 times 60 seconds or whatever, as opposed to a pyramid session. First off, I'm going to select the music that I want to use as the musical backdrop. I'm using a PC with iTunes on it, so I can access my iTunes playlists directly, as you can see here. I've got a playlist called Training Tracks, and if I select that, these are the tracks within that particular playlist, and I can just double click on the tracks that I want to use. You'll see here that the music duration increments as I add tracks to the list, and if I double click to take them away, you'll see this come down again. And when we define the intervals that we want to run, it will also calculate the duration there, and the aim will be to have the music duration just slightly longer than your intervals duration. That way you know you've got music playing for the duration of your interval session. So I'll just go through, add a few more. So we've got those tracks selected, and that comes in at just under 32 minutes. When I'm happy with the music selection, I'll just click here where it says Collapse Tracks Panel, and then I need to define the interval pattern that I want to run. So I can create up to 3 sets, and the first set I'm going to create, I'm going to specify that after a warm-up period of 5 minutes I want to run 6 times 60 seconds, and I'm going to give myself 45 seconds recovery time between each one. Also, I can specify a mid-interval sound signal to play if I want to. I want to run these intervals at a moderate pace and speed up in the final 15 seconds of each one. So what I'm going to do is put 15 seconds in there, and that way I shall hear a short beep 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 indicator 15 seconds from the end of each interval. Now I could leave it at that if I wanted to, but what I'm going to do is create a second set. So tick here, add a second set, and this time I'm going to specify that after a 6-minute rest, so that's going to give me a 6-minute rest from the end of the first session, from the end of the first set I should say, and this time I'm going to do 4 times 2 minutes, 120 seconds, with 60 seconds recovery, and this time I want to hear a mid-interval bleep 30 seconds from the end of each 2-minute session. And I can add a third set in the same way if I so wish. Now if I come back and look here, I can see that my interval's duration is just a little bit longer than my music duration. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come back in here and select one more track, so that I know that my music is playing for at least the length of my interval duration. All I need to do now is give this a name, and what I typically do is give it a name so I'll recognise exactly what's on it. So I'm going to call this 6 times 60 underscore 4 times 120. This helps if you're building up a library of tracks that you can just refer to, if you can tell just by the file name exactly what it is. And finally, click on Create MP3. This file will be saved in your designated music folder, from where you can copy it onto your iPod or any other MP3 player. It'll also be in your iTunes recently added playlist by default. That's it. Thanks very much for watching.